Constant hustle, the pulse buffer productivity method. Constant hustle is fake control. Real output comes from cadence. Every week is a sprint. None of them are. And your best thinking quietly leaves. You find that your work never stops, even at 10 p.m. at night. So you have no quiet period, no time for reset. That can take its toll on your physical health, and your social life becomes non-existent. You have tried different ways to navigate this constant hustle, but cannot find a way that works. Why always on quietly fails? Your nervous system needs predictable contrast and not this up and down cycle of stress and anxiety periods of intensity to create novelty and stakes, and periods of integration to close the loops and restore. Without campaigns, urgency becomes a baseline. Creative bandwidths shrink. You start chasing those adrenaline hits to feel alive at work and then resent your work for needing adrenaline. Now, the language that lands is pulse that's visible. Look at this. Or the buffer that's credible. We finish and we're proud. Your brand needs both. The moment that invites attention, the machinery that keeps promises. You felt so much better and happier within yourself when you achieved that. Now, the Candice. Your pulse week could be a webinar, a sales sprint, a recording, a partnership outreach, public demos and launches. And your buffer week could be delivery, editing, systems, documents, billings, postmortems, onboarding, and customer success. This isn't slower, it's sequenced. You're not delaying growth, you're preventing rework and the churn and then burnout. My program creator client, Maya, had been working on her business and hustling for 10 years. Initially, she landed clients with no problem. But as the market changed, she had to try something different. And this did not work. Before, she was perma-launching, she was giving refunds at 6.5%, and there was lots of team friction. Then she shifted. She tried the pulse and the 2 buffer weeks. And a whole year, quarter later, refunds were down from 6.5 to 3.2%. There were still some refunds, granted, but not as bad. Same revenue with fewer tickets. Closing the loop made buyers feel held, and her team did too. She had regulated the nervous system, reset to her needs and her team needs and her business needs, and navigated a business to suit this. Now, closure can build self-trust. The brain hates open loops. Pulse creates loops. Buffer closes them. So every closure is a vote for you can trust yourself. Trust reduces background anxiety. Anxiety reduction frees the bandwidth for the next pulse. You don't have a navigation problem. You have an unclosed loop problem. Another client was, her name was Indy. She was an SAS business owner. Now, before her feature were trash. There were hot fixes on Friday and then burnout signals. But later, after Candice, Pulse, she did a shipping, she did a demo, and her buffer was this bug triage, document, infrastructure, user interviews. Results were steadier. Hotfix Fridays were almost gone. Onboarding time was down because the docs were real, not aspirational. She rebuilt her business from the ground up. Restructuring helped as she now had a business that she knew every angle. There was a small shift in the market. She navigated to suit her client and deliver what she promised. Imagine you have a boutique, like a creative agency, and you were juggling 5 urgent projects. These needed to be delivered as soon as possible. And you don't know how you're going to do this without a miracle. So you have fewer client review days, plus the outbound. You set up a buffer for your asset and do regular postmortems. 8 weeks later, as you have structured and reorganized the whole team, online delivery system will go up. That's a promise. Your scope will creep down, and there'll be repeat bookings as well that will go up too. So to stop selling speed, start proof of sale. This approach will show you how you move forward as your nervous system feels that safety in this approach and will deliver what your goals are. How do you run it? So, on the pulse day, 1 public moment, 1 prep block, and 1 break method to mark as done. Now, the buffer days, there'll be 3 closure days, like you finish, you edit, and you ship the document to improve. Do you know what? When you achieve things, it beats ambition. Leadership line. We work on pulses to ship and buffers to strengthen. 2 priorities this month. Everything else moves to the backlog. When energy shifts, the mid-pulse dip reduces volume, not integrity. And you keep that public moment to simplify the prep. The buffer surge, you capture ideas, you don't launch them, you respect that container, and you'll never trust that buffer again. Now, boundaries that sound like you care. So brief arrives 24 hours before the pulse calls. So I show up well prepared, ready with my processes. Anything else planned in the pulse goes on the top of the next buffer. We publish postmortems in buffer, not a late night, not in the night of the launch, right? So Mark was another past client. His stress levels were sky high. He felt overwhelmed by the workload and the never-ending juggling of his works. He was ready to throw in the towel with the business and wanted help. So week 1, we did a pulse with him. Week 2, we did a buffer in the Resilient Mind Planner. He picked up 1 pulse moment and 3 buffer closures right down. At the end of each day, he did a break, which is a breathe. So that's the B of the break. Recognize what was going on. And then A was allowing. The K was he's keeping himself in the loop. And then E was exit clean. So he taught his body that done was real and success was on the horizon. He knew that. This fueled his motivation and drive to work harder, faster to achieve this. So I pace for distance, not drama. So bring this to the Reset and Rewire Masterclass, which is free. We'll label this buffer and your closures. For Built With You quarter that scales without frying your system, apply for the inner CEO Rewire Accelerator. So in the next video, we'll talk about win with limited hours. 1 domino time management method. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.